Hello and welcome to another video on my YouTube channel. So today we're going to have a look at this little Laserdisc machine. And you see that problem there? Yeah. Well, there's two little pots you can fiddle which play with the tilt adjustment and the angle of attack of the laser on the Laserdisc player. But this is not the problem with this machine. The problem with this machine is actually the laser. The laser, as we showed in another video here on my channel, has actually worn out. So it's not actually able to read the disc and the little problems on the disc. So it ends up with all these artifacts appearing on screen. So what we're going to try to do is we're going to try and repair this particular machine. And all we have to do to repair it is find a laser assembly and replace the laser assembly, and we're golden. But before we do that, we're going to take a look at something else. Okay, so basically this is one that arrived to me in a broken state. The problem with this, actually before we even do that, to open the drive while the power is off, and the little grey wheel under here, little wheel, I'm just going to take the camera off the post for a second, I'll show it to you. Now, if I can get it under there now, we might be able to see it. There, see this? This is the wheel here you're turning. That'll actually release the carriage for you. Okay? So I'm going to be doing that while I'm talking. And ignore the fact that I've moved locations into my kitchen. I'm in the kitchen because my workbench has another project on it that I want to be doing related to a PC. So I sort of started that video back in January. I want to continue it, but I don't want to take everything off the bench just to do this laser drive video, which should be quicker in theory. So basically all I've done here is take the cover off. I actually gave the cover a wash, literally under the tap with soap and water, and then I dried it off because it was just really dirty. It must have come from somebody who was smoking, because it definitely had that look about it. Now, this particular machine is the CLD-S315 I. Now, there is also, which I also have, the CLD-S310S, and I also have a 310, and I have another machine inside, which you just seen there a second ago, showing the problem with the THX Laserdisc. And that particular one will actually play back NTSC and PAL discs. Now, we'll be looking at that machine in a short while because it is related to this machine. So basically this machine was sold to me with a faulty power supply. Now I'm not going to look at the power supply today. I'm going to take it as verbatim that the power supply is faulty, and I'm going to take it as verbatim. The bloke said he basically took the board out of this and replaced it with another known good working board, which I always recommend. Great idea to do stuff like that. And he did that. He said that the machine was playing back perfectly all the laser discs that he threw on it. So that's always good news. So what's worth salvaging on this? Well, what we want to salvage on this is the actual physical laser, the laser assembly, or maybe even the carriage itself, because the problem with the machine inside is the actual laser. Now the machine inside, which we'll take out in a while, the problem with that one was an issue with a few parts on it, not just one single. A few bits here and there. Yeah, so as I was saying, like the guy who sold to me was saying that he was having trouble with the power board. He changed it for a good known power board, and everything works fine. The laser was reading and that, so we should have a good laser in this machine, and a good carriage assembly, and yeah, that seems to be bouncing about there nicely. That's a good test. You want to make sure that that is actually, be very careful touching that, don't break it. We do want to make sure that it's free moving in there, because basically that's on a couple of magnets that are beside it, and it should be floating. The idea of the floating is so that it can actually move up and down and bounce and allow it to read the actual disc. So the laser will come up here, hit the disc, and come back down again through this, this basically optical device. And Pioneer reckon they put a special coating on this. I think I came across a special coating when I cleaned the lens of one a number of years ago, and ended up with a blue Q-tip. And funny enough, it also happened to me with a very expensive DVD player a Hitachi DVD player where it wasn't reading the discs, and the recommendation was to clean the lens. So I took out a Q-tip and I cleaned the lens. Cleaning the lens you should only do as a last resort. So for example, the machine inside where I had trouble with it reading the discs or reading them properly, I figured, feck, I'll clean the lens, and it made no difference. So one of the things that was basically advised to do was to come in and play with the tilt offset, and again that made absolutely no difference. I ended up going along and just replacing the laser in it, and that solved my problem. So I know that the laser assembly is a major issue with these particular machines when it comes to that particular crosstalk, because at the end of the day you are relying on a laser to be finely tuned, and you're relying on to be able to read that disc, especially reading CLV or CAA discs as they're called, CAA-65 is that the name of them. You're relying on that laser to be perfectly balanced and perfectly able to read that disc, so any undulation or gyration of the disc, it's able to basically ride the storm and read through the errors. So I'm just going to go around the other side of the machine and have a look at something there. Actually, if you just bear me one moment, I'm going to leave the room. See you now. You thought I abandoned it. I've got to get my torch here, so I just want to have a look. Let's have a look at the board here. So you've got your tilt offset side A. There's also a tilt offset side B. Obviously this is a single sided player, indicated by the fact that it says S. We also have a PLL offset. And we have a video level gain, which is over here. That can actually change the picture quite significantly. If you find your pictures quite dark, you can slightly adjust this. The way to adjust these pots is tiny little increments. Don't suddenly adjust. If you suddenly adjust, you're not going to get it back to where you started off. I found that the laser on the other one was out of whack. I started playing with the pots and I made it blooming worse. Now in fairness, the laser was worn anyway, so it didn't matter. But it actually did make the problem worse, so we don't really want to do that, Okay, so we're going to have a look at this machine in general and just see what's worth salvaging here and what's worth getting rid of. One of the things he did say was, he said that this particular power lead was damaged on one side. I think he might mean over here. He says something's there, so it's mentioned on that there. There's something mentioned there, all right, Yeah, it's damaged. It's damaged at the very, very tip up here, just along here. But yeah, that's nothing to worry about anyway. It's not going to be the end of the world. The gearing looks okay. It looks a bit grey, so it's not been in a very clean environment. This is looking a bit grimy as well. We give that a bit of a clean while we're here, just to see what sort of dirt we've got on there. I generally just use there. See that? I generally just use a baby wipe. That is worth cleaning. I'll just zoom in on that now just to show you. That is definitely worth cleaning, that grip disc. Simply because we go on all the way one. Go on. Sudden. See that? See the difference in the dirt? Let's hold it. Let's come out a bit. Focusing. Focus down here, Mr. Machine. So I'll just show you there now. See? So that can make a big difference to problems with the disc slipping, and again, reading of the disc. If the disc clamp doesn't clamp up properly, it'll give you issues and it'll just spit the disc out sometimes. So that's now cleaned. So that will make a big difference. The motor's working, from what we've been led to believe. The laser's working. The problem with it is obviously the power supply. So I'm going to just zoom back out. Okay, so let's have a look at the face of the machine and let's just see where we are here. See what is worth saving out of here. This assembly here is worth saving from what I see so far. It needs a bit of a clean if we're going to use another machine, but I'm not going to be too concerned about that. I'll get this cable out of the way here. Yeah, it's moving there. What's the face like, I wonder? We're going to turn it upside down now, so just bear with me. We'll have a look at the other side. See what we got. Oh, sellotape. That's never a good sign. So we have sellotape, which appears to be holding the face on. That's probably not a good thing. So We'll have a look at that now. Oh dear God. Yeah, this has suffered a bit of damage over the years. There's no doubt about it. This is not a happy machine. It also appears to be missing the Pioneer badge. So it's not exactly a keeper of the machine so far. The shell though does seem to be intact, which is interesting. That's the bottom of the molar there, isn't it? The actual shell is intact. It appears to be quite square, which could be interesting. I'll take this cover off. It's broken now anyway, so it's not going to make any difference. These screws can be worth saving as well. If you're taking these machines apart for scrap, the screws can be good for other machines. At the end of the day, you end up with machines and you end up with donor machines. So definitely the machine inside is worth getting going and sacrificing this poor baby. Let me see, there's something there holding that side on. Let's just have a look. So that's there, that's the end of that. That's basically the end of that. Now see here, it's off. Is it? No, it is on camera. This is a block on the screen telling me it's not on camera, but it is on camera. So the Pioneer badge is missing. Now, as you can see, it says CLD-S315 I. Okay, so it'll do CDs, Laserdiscs, single-sided, the 300 series 10F. Okay, and the F, from what I know, means it was for the French region. There's an S one, which is for the Spanish region. I have one without any letter there at all. And upstairs this says CLD-S310. It's probably a British one. Should have said GB. What do you reckon? Or B, you know, or E, you know. Well, I don't know. Should have said something, you know. And the one, so the NTSC one we look at in a minute, I don't think it says anything there. Maybe it does, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's not going to matter too much. So let's have a look. That really does sound hard, doesn't it? Can we take this machine out of here? We should be able to take this out of here, yeah. It should be fairly easy to remove the drive out of this baby. It's just a matter of 2 clips either side. That's one of them there. And I can get the other side. That's the end of that. That's him out of there. Boom! The whole face is off now, look. Oh, lovely jubbly. We have a few wires there that are for earthing wire, and we have our lovely. That's our. Okay, you can't see that cable. It just pulled out. I just pulled out the cable from here, and what that cable does is it just does the front face there. I actually these I haven't actually tried to see if these trays work in the other machines. They might be worth trying out because I have another machine with a tray in it that's broken, and the tray in this looks like it's intact, so that's always good. Yeah, this assembly is okay, you know. This assembly looks absolutely fine. So I have already cleaned up the other assembly in the other one, so I don't really want to go and have to do that again. But taking this one out and re-greasing, so I think I will take this one out of here, take the laser out of this one, and pull it into our other machine. That's what we're going to do. It's very tricky to get the back laser cable on, so that'll be interesting to see if I can do that on camera without making an absolute madash of it. So, right, okay. So take the laser assembly out of here. Let's see if it's on camera. It is, but it's very far away. Let's get you there. Okay, so now to laser assembly on these, not too difficult. This screw here, let them fall down there, yeah, right. That comes out. This bar comes up. It's just pushed in at the other end there. And that, one laser assembly out. To get it out of here, just simply wiggle it up and that's it. Now before you put it back in again, this black piece needs to be up in the air. Okay? That way when you push this piece back in there on the other machine, it'll be working fine. And be very careful with these because these pieces here are very fragile and they're also very rare. This whole assembly is very rare. So you want to make sure you look after it. It's all rare at the end of the day, but you know, of course these are rare too. As more drives break down, more of these are going to be needed, obviously, right? So that's this bit. So what I'll do now is I will go and get the other machine in a moment, but we put this one back together just for the minute, just to get everything back out of the way. So we just reassemble it. Why not? We're going to leave the bar out for the minute. Just going to put this face back on. Oh, there's eBay letting me know about something. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the face back on, which is always fun to do. It should come out of there. And it does. I mentioned this before, these cables only go in one way, insofar as there's a marking on them, so they're fairly straightforward to do when you can get them in. Right? Good God, I'm making them a dash of that as well. Let me just go over this side, make sure I'm getting it right. Yeah. There we are, we're back in. So I would say worry about getting the bottom in first, but I think that ship has already sailed, this poor machine. So I'm fluffing it awful terrible like, you know what I mean? Ooh ah, chuck ooh ah. I'm making an absolute bags of this one, big man. Now, hey, here we are. Ooh ah, that's cracking, that is, lad, cracking. Now, it's a terrible rip off of an accent there, you know. The wee screws. Oh, what can I do? I'll put them on the other side. Oh wait, there they are now, boy. You're mixing accents up here like you don't know tomorrow. You don't know what you're seeing. Now, I'm just going to put the face back on this quickly. I'm using the wrong screws. It's the wrong screws, Grant. Now, I had the right screw in my hand and then I dropped it. And now I'm all confused and flustered. That really is not going to help. That's not the right screw. That's the right screw. That's the way to do it. Punch and Judy, isn't it? That should be right. There we are. There we are. I had the right screws in my hand all along. Yeah, we're just going to put these back in here. Now, I have the PAL version of one of these, and I got it there last year. I was curious to see how like for example, the dedicated NTSC machine, which I showed in another video. I was curious to see what, in theory, the PAL equivalent of that would be like. So, you know what I mean, if there's a dedicated NTSC one, how about a dedicated PAL one? And what would it look like? So, I got the PAL machine, and yeah, we had some fun with it, yeah. Pretty good quality. Right, I'm going to go grab the other machine, put that back together there. I'm going to go grab the other machine, and we're going to put the laser assembly that was in this one into that one, and with a bit of luck, that fuzziness you saw won't be there anymore. Okay, the last one I just bought there, the CLD, which is behind me here, S310 F, I bought from a French fella. And this one you see here, I also bought from a French fella. And he told me, the fellow told me this one, told me, oh, it's working. I'm not going to do a French accent. I refuse to start doing any more accents. It is working properly, you know. It is a little problem with the laser optics. No, he said basically that the problem with this machine was it wasn't spinning up the disc. So I said, okay, that's great. Not spinning up the disc, that's fine. Is it coming on? Is the laser okay? He says, oh yeah, the laser's perfect on it. He says, that's not a bother. Oh, of course, as we know from the video I just showed you at the very beginning, the laser is not okay. So I know the laser is not okay because I put another laser into this and it worked fine. And I just didn't want to, I wanted to put it back into the machine it came out of, which was the 310, because I want to keep the 310 as a working machine, as it was. That dedicated PAL machine, I wanted to keep it as it was. didn't want to interfere with it. Okay, so now I'm going to take this machine apart. It's going to be right in our way. I know I'm off camera here with this next bit. But, there goes the screw up to the floor. A little screw under the floor. I know on camera probably. Ah yes. So I'm just going to take this. Just basically what I'm taking out here are the 4 side screws. So there's nothing you're missing. Apart from me dropping the screw on the floor. So that should be it. Right, that's it. Now the cover that you see here came off another machine. Because this one had the two, oh, I can turn it around. This cover had the 2 laser stickers in good nick, and the cover was in good nick, so I took this off one machine, and the cover that was on this machine, I dumped it out because it was horrific looking. So I've already cleaned this machine up quite a bit. So this machine here is a PAL NTSC machine. As you can see, this board here is not on the other one, and this is a different board. It's not on. It doesn't. No, it's not there. Why is it not there? Well, this machine, being the model that it is, also has an RF out on it. And the RF out is the radio frequency. And basically what that is, it's for playing back NTSC discs that have the AC3, Dolby Digital AC3 soundtrack. I'm doing what I did the last one, was manually unloading the drawer. If the machine is working fine, just plug it in and load the drawer and put it back in again. It's just as quick. So there's a few little bits in this that aren't on the other one. The RF modulator card, which is up here, that's a factory installed modulator card. It is not something that has been modded in this machine. It came like that from the factory. Pioneer basically did that on some of these models to allow people to play back the NTSC. So I'm going to just pop that out of there. This is the laser assembly again nice and simple. Bar comes out, the clip at the back, just gently prise it up. That's the old laser assembly. Now this laser assembly is actually, it is, freely moving in there, so that's good, but it's not as freely moving as our other one, which we'll now go grab. So here's our other laser assembly. So first things first, I actually became a dab hand at putting these assemblies in without actually taking anything out, but you can't see anything when I do that, so it's a bit of a worry. I noticed after getting a bit of the goo, there's a little bit of goo on top of a little bit of wire there, it might cause a bit of a problem. And then again, I might not. So yeah, what happened was I've got a bit of the lithium grease there on the connector, so we don't want that. Okay, that's fine. So it's just a matter then of, that's up, black is up, see, make sure it's up. And a matter of sliding it down there and shoving it in. That should let me get it in. Get it in. Is it in? Yeah, I think so. There's only one way to find out, and that is to play back a disc. Yeah, there's a quicker look at it there. It just seemed to be a bit of dust, and the laser looks okay. Like I said, I'm not going to go clean it unless I have to, and I don't recommend you do clean it unless you have to. Okay, so now, first thing to do is to slide that back in there, and it should let me put it back in there. Let's see if I can get it in there. Whoa. There's a little, see this little plastic clip here? You've got to get that underneath that as well, alright? So there's a bar there, I'll show you now how you've got to get it under now in just a second. I'll use the other laser as an example. Okay, and I'll show you from this side. So that's that. See now where he is he under it? Yes, he's now under it. Okay. So now what I'll do is I'm going to turn it around and show you from the other side. Okay? Okay, here we are now on the other side. So basically you've got your bar here. So I've slid it in the front, okay, and on the where have I put my other laser? Good lord. Basically, you see this see this here? So that there has to go underneath onto this bit of bar here. So there's a bar there, the steel plate sticking out, and this little piece of hook sort of goes in between the steel plates. So if I had a hammer, all the things I could do. Now, so flathead screwdriver, that's representing this plate, and this is your piece, so that, you know, has to go in there like that, okay? So, under and in, okay? So, now, making sure that's under there, which it is, making sure that it's up here, just going to gently see now, she'll work along the way, she is, okay? So that's nice and secure there. Just give that a little bit of a run, as I just did there, just to make sure it's on the thing. Don't basically jam this bar down with great force because you'll snap it. Okay, so I'll just basically place it down and then start to move the worm gear. See how it's moving freely? That's what you want. Okay, once it's doing that, you're gold. Now we're going to go get our screw and basically tighten this bar back on. So, this is the very end here. And we tighten it back on. And that is that. Now just do that gently just to see if it's in place. Do not do that hard. Be very, very gentle. These cogs here are very, very small and very, very delicate. The other thing that I managed to get with the machine from the second French fella was this remote control. And he actually asked me that I want it. And I said, yeah, if you have one, because the remote controls are very, very rare. I made a comment recently that I reckon people who own Laserdisc machines eat the actual Laserdisc remote control before they dispose of the machine, and they let out a Laserdisc or a certain appendage of their body. And that certain Laserdisc was the Laserdisc of speed, because there seems to be an awful lot of speed Laserdiscs and not very many remote controls. So this remote control came to me and the battery back was not missing. I've now lost it because it was sellotaped on. In here was full of battery crud, and the two terminals were fairly crusted up. I presumed the remote control was working. He did say, do you want the remote control for it? So I just genuinely presumed it was working. So I didn't do it on camera because the camera didn't work. Something went wrong, battery died or something, I'm not too sure. But basically I took the remote control apart. It's only a matter of getting a knife in here. That was actually like that when I got it, now like that. So I used it as a way to get in. Just basically two halves come apart. There's a couple of 3-4 clips here, 3-4 clips here. Just all pops apart. These are just a rubber membrane. I basically washed the hole out under the tap. That's basically what I did with it. And I then set it up to dry. I gave the terminals a bit of a clean. And it didn't work for me yesterday, but I figured maybe there was a bit of water in it still. So I let it dry overnight, and yeah, it's now actually working. So cool. At least there's a working remote control. It might be a bit beaten up, but at the end of the day, it's beaten up remote control versus getting up and trying to do a change manually. What I must actually try is try and see if this remote control will work on the CLD-S315 and the 590 I have inside. That's what I actually tried it on yesterday. I had them plugged in and it just wouldn't do anything. But okay, I just want to show you that first, and now we're going to go on to the main event and see if changing the laser made any difference. This one here is still working, so it's a good one to have to stick in the machine that mightn't be working. So this won't be getting dumped. I'll be actually putting this back into our other machine. And what I'll do with the other machine is I will see if there's anything on it worth salvaging. If there is, I'll salvage it. If not, you know, I'll probably just take the assembly out of it, because that's definitely worth holding on to. That's the cog gear and all that sort of stuff. That's always worth holding on to. So I would definitely be taking that out of it. So yeah, let's take a look and see if changing our laser made any difference to our machine. And here we go. Okay, so I'd call that a successful test. Doesn't seem to be any problems there. It's playing away, and as you can see, there's no breaks or blurs in the text. And before we're getting all that breakup, we're not getting that now. So we'll just play the video here for a second. Let's have a quick look. There's no sound because I don't want to be flagged for something. Just fast forward there a bit. There we go. There's our playback. As you can see, the playback is pretty good. So the playback here is a RCA video cable, good quality, straight into the side of a Panasonic Plasma 50-inch television, or le téléviseur as they say in Ireland. And yeah, it worked. So there we are. We've managed to get a single-sided dual region panel and NTSC machine working, thanks to the sacrifice of an an S310F. So that is always good news. So I'm pretty happy with the outcome there. The only thing that I actually have to do, and I didn't do in the video there, is put a drop of lithium grease on the gearing of the laser. I reckon it needs a bit of a clean, a bit of a gearing, greasing. So I'm going to do that. The focus is going out and in there. I just remembered it. Anyway, so that's it. Thanks for watching. Please thumbs up. Please subscribe, and I'll see you the next time. And what we'll do in the future is we will, go through that power supply board on the other one and try to figure out what's broken on it. There's a good chance it's a dry capacitor or something like that. We'll have to go through and figure that out. But until then, yeah, okay. Thanks very much. Bye bye.